The Washington Commanders held day 9 of training camp practice here in Ashburn, and there was another performance for the defense today that I think got the better of the offense. The offense was able to move the ball, but the defense, led by, and I'm starting to get used to saying this, rookie cornerback Trey Amos. Yet again, folks, he's had another great day. Was all over the field today, breaking up passes, whether to Deebo Samuel, or to Luke McCaffrey. He was out there making plays. This defense is starting to show that it can be a really good unit. And I had a chance to catch up with Will Harris. They brought him over as a free agent safety from New Orleans, and he's already starting to show flashes on this defense, and he feels good about Joe Witt, the defensive coordinator, and how they're using him. All right, here with safety Will Harris, a new member of the Washington Commanders. And last week you and I, we kind of talked off the air, and you mentioned as far as the culture here and how there were a lot of firsts for you here. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I would say just structurally the way that we do things, just day to day, like the logistics of the day. How there's an emphasis on the players' health. There's an emphasis on like making sure that we stay at capacity.
Sure.
There's just an emphasis on on recovery.
Yeah.
Like things like that. There's an emphasis on family, brotherhood. Like there's time being carved out. For all of those things. All of those things are a priority here, and they don't fall by the wayside. So as a player,
not lip service.
Exactly, 100%. So as a player, I mean, what more can you ask for? You know what I mean? To be in a building where that exists. So.
Now, looking at this defense, you guys are going at it against an offense that is moving the football, but then there are times you guys make great plays and have stops. How good can this defense be for this year?
I would say the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. I mean, we got a bunch of talented guys, yes. A bunch of guys who have been playing at a high level for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have a good group of guys. We have a great group of guys,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of great guys on and off the field. Guys who want to mentor and guys who want to be mentored.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a culture like that, when you have a room like that, all in cohesion, it's a beautiful thing, and it's an honor. I'm extremely humbled to be around all of these guys and get to work with them.
So just overall, I mean, you guys have a lot of talent in the secondary. You're adding to it as well. Joe Witt wanted his defense last year to be really aggressive and play downhill. You feel like you guys are able to do that now? I mean, this is your first year here, so This is all you know. But do you feel like you guys are playing fast and free, as he says, and playing downhill?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's an emphasis on that style of play here. There's an emphasis on just letting it rip. We gonna in the meeting rooms and when we're out here, we're gonna handle the X and O's. We're gonna make sure that we that we crossing our T's and dotting our I's and stay within the scheme. And stay within the defense. But at the end of the day, guys are out here letting it rip. You know what I mean? Like you get your key, you get your read, then now it's time to play ball. So I think that's a point of emphasis. Coach Witt, he does a great job of communicating and telling us that and letting the players play. So it's a great experience.
So with you, I mean, you're a guy that can cover. You're a good tackler, and I think not to compare anyone, but last year they had some guys that were great tacklers, but maybe struggled a little bit in coverage. But I'm seeing you flying around. You look comfortable covering tight ends. You look like you're comfortable on the outside. Is that part of your game that you feel like you can bring to this defense?
100%. That's something that I've always taken great pride in.
Mm-hmm.
I see myself as as an overall DB.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they need me to do in between those white lines, I'm willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be cover receiver, cover tight end, playing, obviously playing our zones, do whatever, fit, run, tackle, be a physical presence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with it all. So, I'm super excited, to get this thing rolling and super excited about this process.
How great does it feel for you to be linked back up with Marshawn? Because he looks like he's more invigorated. He lost weight. He looks really good. And I know he speaks highly of you from your day, obviously in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's my dog, man. That's my dog. So, one thing about Sean, man, one thing about Larry, he's a man of a few words, but I mean, obviously he is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He makes his presence felt,
Mm-hmm.
between them white lines, and that's who he is. He's an ultimate competitor. He's a fierce competitor, and when he get up there, when it's time to play, he's always ready to play, and that's my dog. I love the way he played, man, and been a fan of his since before, I played with him before, so.
Was that a key point for you? Like when Adam and them approached you about coming here, was it like, Sean's there? Because I mean, I know Sean wanted you here, but was that like a big factor for you?
I would say it was a culmination of everything.
Nice,
To be honest, like the culture they have here is you can't replicate that. You can't fake that. Like we said, I mean, what we got going on here, you can't fake it. It has to be real, all from the top down. And everybody here in that building is just, man, it's just salt of the earth, just great people and care about you and want you to succeed. And that's hard to find in any business, in any aspect.
Yeah.
So. I say that's a rarity. So to have that here is a tremendous blessing. And then obviously being able to come here and play with my dog, man, that's just even better. So I'm glad to see him back out there. Glad to get it rocking with him again.
All right, and then finally the young guys on the outside. You obviously Marshawn's there, and he's the wily vet, the Pro Bowler. But then you have Mikey Sanristo and you have Trey Amos, who just continue to make plays. How special can those two guys be?
Man, it's the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit for sure. Just watching the way they work, and I mean, obviously they're tremendously talented, God-given ability, everywhere. But just the way they work and the way they attack their meetings, isn't like it's unlike a rookie or a second-year player like like Mikey. They attack like veterans, which is why they go out there and they play with extreme confidence like a veteran. And I would say that that's something that it's been an honor for me to to watch them go and to be able to build that trust both ways. From a safety perspective, to a corner, from a safety to a nickel, being able to gain those guys' trust. Like, here, I got you here, you got me here. It's a constant. It's a constant. Building on the relationship. And so to see those guys go out there, man, and two dogs, man. You got team full of dogs, man, but them two right there, man, they ultimate competitors, ain't scared of nothing, lights never too bright for them, so they just go out there and play, man. Go ahead and strap it up and get in guys' faces, so I love to see it.
All right, man. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on.
My man.
Another player that's not getting a whole lot of attention, but he's making waves on the field, is running back Demetric Felton. And you go back to OTAs and minicamp, and I mentioned that he was turning heads, and he's still doing that. Naturally, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichol, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, another rookie, have been getting a lot of the attention. But Demetric Felton is carving out an opportunity for him on this football team, and he feels good. All right, folks, here with Demetric Felton, young running back, is making some noise here in camp. How's everything feel for you?
It feels really good. It's nice to, get back out here and be able to just get better as a team, get closer, and just get ready for these next couple weeks, preseason.
Now, you were generating a lot of buzz in minicamp and OTAs. Is there something different about this offense that you feel like kind of is more conducive for your game?
Yeah, I really like how they run things here. The way Cliff organized the offense, the way he gives his playmakers the ball in space, I feel like it was something that really suits me. So I'm really excited about it.
Now, in your backfield room, obviously Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichol, Chris Rodriguez, a lot of depth there. And then, of course, yourself and the young guy, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. What about your game adds to that running back room?
I would just say the versatility. We, like you said, we have a lot of good backs, man. There's a lot of good competition out there. But I feel like my versatility, being able to do running back, receiver, special teams, there's a lot of value.
So you've been on a couple teams, practice squads, and so to own your craft. Just being here, though, as far as the culture of this team, what makes this a different setup for you?
It definitely feels different than some of the places I've been. Instantly, when I came in, the way they welcome me, the way they've given me opportunities to show what I got has been huge.
So to play behind a guy like Austin Eckler, who has done some great things in this league, also a really good pass catching back. Is that something that you feel from a versatility standpoint that you can do as well?
Definitely. I definitely feel like I could do that. Austin's been somebody that I've been studying even before I got here, before I even got in the league. So he's some dude that, I try to emulate and add some of his game to mine. So definitely.
Okay. And then final question, number 5. You saw him from afar, but being here in the building with him for the past several months, How special is he?
He's really special, man. Just you could tell the way he just sees things
Mhm.
is a different level, and the speed of it as well. He's able to change things on the fly, and man, he brings in that swag and just that mental focus to the game that you definitely want. Your quarterback bringing that. It's easy to follow a guy like that.
Okay. All right, man.
Yep.
Debo Samuel, wide receiver, actually practiced today and performed well, continues his amazing camp. So as far as the hand injury that I tweeted out, 2 days ago, the second to last play of practice, he hurt his hand, but it was more of a jam finger. So looks good for Washington that he's still out there. Speaking of wide receivers, we spoke with, head coach Dan Quinn before practice, and he had this to say as far as a ramp up for all his players, but in particular, if they were to get Terry McLaurin signed under contract.
I think I'll have a better sense of whenever it's back, then it begins, the on-field. So we won't rush that. It's too important, but all of the guys need that at any position, at any spot. And so it really depends on the return. Then you can do the ramp up, but we won't shortchange that in one spot to say, okay, now we'll hustle to go. I think we all have seen that through the years around the league, that somebody hustles back and, man, they got banged up. Maybe you didn't follow the process, and it's hard as a coach. But just stay disciplined when those moments happen, and all the guys follow the same, hey, let's ramp it back up and not miss one step. And we'll do that too.
So it was another highly spirited practice here again in Ashburn. And again, we're going to have more for you as we travel to New England. So once again, this is a football team that's battling hard, and they look every bit the part of a Super Bowl contender. So here in Ashburn at Commanders Park for CBS 6 Sports, I'm NFL insider Blake Lewis.